Welcome students. So in the last class we were talking about Kepler's laws. So we have seen that this is like the shape of an egg, and the location of sun can be at these two foci and ellipse. So the planet can be rotating somewhere here. Okay. So I told that this position is called perihelion, and this position is called aphelion. Alright. Now, because it's undergoing a rotational motion under no influence of external forces and all that, so your angular momentum will be conserved. L will be constant. What is L? L is nothing but mvr. So can I write? Let us say the mass of the planet is mp. mp into vp into rp is equal to mp into VA into RA. Now what do I mean by RA and RP? So let us say I call this distance as RP and this distance as RA. Alright? So the mass of the planet will be always same. So you can write VP by VA is equal to VP by VA is equal to RA by RP. Look at RA by RP. RA by RP is more than 1, right? So that means VP by VA is more than 1 or VP is more than VA. Actually, in other words, at perihelion, the speed of the this planet will be the maximum actually. So this is one concept you have to understand. Okay. And as per the Kepler's third law, we have said that T square is proportional to R cube. Okay, so we said that, let us say this is 2A and this is 2B. Okay, so what is semi-major axis here? So B is the semi-minor axis and A is the semi-major axis. Alright, so this R here refers to semi-minor axis. So this point you have to, that means T square is proportional to B cube. This is also one important point you should understand. Okay. So in the same discussion, we also came across this point, second law, that this is here. Suppose in dt time, this is the area traversed by the planet. Okay, so we came to know that dA by dt is constant. So from here we have shown that L by 12 is equal to constant, where L is the angular momentum. L is the angular momentum. Now this dA by dt is called aerial velocity. Aerial velocity. Note this term, aerial velocity. Aerial means area. So the change of area with respect to time. There is a term called aerial velocity. Often in questions it is asked, so you should know the term. What is the meaning of it? See this question. An artificial satellite is in an elliptical orbit around the Earth with aphelion of 6r and perihelion of 2r, where r is the radius of the Earth. Radius of the Earth is given as 6,400 kilometers. Calculate the eccentricity of the elliptical orbit. So it is like this. It is going in an elliptical orbit. Alright. Somewhere here is the sun, and let us say the Earth is moving like this. At some time it will occupy this position, at some time it will occupy this position. When it occupies this position, it is called perihelion. When it occupies this position, it is called aphelion. So let us mark the distances now. This is RP and this is RA. Okay, we have taken this focus as the reference point now. So let us say this distance is A, this is C, and this distance is B. So this is semi-major axis and this is semi-minor axis. Okay, I mean this is semi-minor axis and this is semi-major axis. This is major and this is minor. Now here eccentricity is what is asking you. Eccentricity is defined as c divided by a. So for that we have to use the information which is given in the question. So he is saying that Rp is equal to 6R, but what is Rp? Sorry, ephelion is given as 6R. Ephelion means from here to here. So it is C plus A. Or A plus C is equal to 6R. This is equation 1. And this is ephelion. Okay? And perihelion is given as how much? 2R. But this is A minus C. This total is A. This is C. This is what we are finding out. So this A minus C is equal to 2R. This is your equation 2. So add these two, you get A value. 2A is equal to 8R. A is equal to 4R. Put this value to the second one. 4R minus C is equal to 2R. You get C is equal to 2R. So what is the eccentricity now? C divided by A is half. So 0.5 is the eccentricity of the elliptical orbit. So the next question. The mean distance of a planet from the Sun is approximately 1/4 times that of the Earth from the Sun. Find the number of years required for the planet to make one revolution about the Sun. So we have to use the Kepler's third law here. Kepler's third law. Kepler's third law talks about the time, which is t square is proportional to r cube, right? So there is some planet Tp, let us say it takes time Tp when compared with the Earth time, which is Te. So Tp by T whole square. So it is proportional. So I am directly taking the proportionality constant the same, let us say. So it is Rp by Re whole cube. Alright. Now the mean distance of a planet from the Sun is approximately 1/4 times that of the Earth. That means Rp is given as Re by 4. So this becomes Tp by Te whole square. So Rp by Re will become 1/4 whole cube. So 4 4s are 16, 16 4s are 64. Right? So this implies Tp by Te is equal to square root of this. It is 1/8. Or Tp will be equal to Te divided by 8. If Te you count in terms of years, so T is 1 year, because Earth takes 1 year to rotate around the Sun, it will be 1/8 years. So 0.125 years. Or 365 days if you call, divided by 8. 8 4s are 32, 45, 40, 50 means 45.6 days approximately. Alright? Let's see this question. The speed of the planet at the ephelion P be Vp and the sun planet distance Sp be Vp and the sun planet distance Sp be Rp as shown in the figure. A figure has been shown. Relate the Rp and Vp to the corresponding quantities of ephelion. Will the planet take equal times to traverse BAC and CPB? See, basically whatever is asked in this question we have already proved that when a planet is rotating around the Sun, the angular momentum is constant, and we have come to a conclusion that the speed at perihelion will be more than speed at the ephelion. Okay, that we have come from the angular momentum concept. Okay, L is equal to constant. So when you write L is equal to constant, you can write L is equal to mp Vp mvr, no, but this is mvr. So it is mp VA RA. Okay, we have taken the ratios there. Just go back in the same video and you can watch it. So the speed is always maximum at perihelion and it is less at ephelion. Now the second part of the question, what he is asking is, now if you remember the Kepler's second law, he says that dA by dt is constant. dA by dt is constant. Okay. You see here the speed here is more, here it is more, and here it is less. So this is one area traversed and this is another area traversed. Okay, this is another area. Okay, so BACB. So BAC, you can say S. This is one area, and CPBS. Okay, he's asking you where you are going to take more time. Here the speed is less, here the area is more, so obviously the time also taken will be more. So to cover this portion, the right hand side portion, the time taken will be more, because you have to maintain dA by dt constant. If in the numerator more area is there, denominator also more time will be taken, so that you are able to cover the distance such that it is constant. Let us say here the area to be covered is 100 units. I am talking about this, okay, and the time we took is 2, but here the area to be covered is 200 units. So what will happen? The time will be 4, no? Okay, 200 by 4 is 50, 100 by 2 is 50. So like that it is. So the right hand portion will take, it will not take equal times. Will the planet take equal times to traverse? No, it will not take the equal times to traverse. They will take different times to traverse, because the speed of the planet is different at ephelion and at the perihelion. If A is the aerial velocity of a planet of mass m, its angular momentum is. So he has given us, this is your aerial velocity, right? It is given as A. But what is aerial velocity? Aerial velocity is constant as per Kepler's second law, and we have proved that dA by dt is basically L upon 2m. Okay? So it is L upon 2m. So L upon 2m is equal to A. And what is he asking you? He is asking you its angular momentum. Angular momentum is this. So it is 2ma. Option 2. Okay. A planet revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit of semi-minor and semi-major axis x and y respectively, then the period of revolution is proportional to. See, so this is your elliptical path. So this is called major axis. So this is your semi-major axis. Semi-major axis. And the question he has given us y. And this is your semi-minor axis. This is in the question given as x. So the t square what you are writing as per Kepler's third law is actually proportional to y cube. I think in the previous discussion by mistake I have told this. It is the t square is proportional to the cube of semi-major axis. Okay, here in the question semi-major axis is given as y. So that means t must be proportional to y to the power of 3 by 2. Okay, option 4 is the right answer. Just make that correction. Okay, I think I have told this distance, whereas it is this distance. Alright, this is Kepler's third law. Let A be the area swept by the line joining the Earth and the Sun during February 2012. The area swept by the same line during the first week of that month is. So in February you have, if it's a leap year, 29 days. So in 29 days, the area covered is A. So in one day, it will be A by 29. It will be proportionate, no? So he's asking you in 7 days. It will be 7A by 29. You have to take the proportionate values. 7A by 29. Option 2. A satellite moving in a circular path of radius r around the Earth has a time period t. If its radius is slightly increases by 4%, then percentage change in its time period is. So it's talking about time, radius, etc. Kepler's third law. T square is proportional to r cube. Alright. So if you differentiate both sides, you get 2t dt is equal to 3r dr. If there is a constant of proportionality, it will be same for both. So I put some constant k here. Let us say when you are saying t square is proportional to r cube, t square must be equal to some kr cube. So that k will be there here also. Okay. So this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now why we are doing this means, when you take the ratio of 2 by 1, what are you going to get? So look here, this is 2t dt by t square is equal to k cancel 3r dr divided by r cube, and here there will be 3r square actually. Okay, when you are differentiating r cube, you get r square. All right. Yeah. So you see, 1t cancel and r is left. So you are getting 2 dt by t is equal to 3 dr by r. Multiply both sides with 100. What is this? This is the slightly increase in the radius. Dr is the change in the radius, r is the original radius, so it is percentage rise. So what is this? This is the percentage rise or decrease in the time. So basically you are looking for this quantity. So dt by t into 100 will be equal to 3 upon 2 into this term, which is nothing but 4% here as per the question. So 2 2s are 4. So this is 6%. Option 2 is the right answer.